Actress Tallulah Bankhead once said, "There have only been two authentic geniuses in this world, Willie Mays and Willie Shakespeare. One wrote scripts, the other made you think he was following one." That's Willie Mays.
Willie Mays. Willie Mays. Willie Mays has done it again.
A five-tool phenom who, until last year, held the crown as baseball's greatest living player. He could do it all. Launch homers, spray base hits, steal bags, fire missiles from the outfield, and make jaw-dropping catches that looked choreographed by Spielberg. Sports writer Joe Posnanski once put it simply, if Mays were the standard for the Hall of Fame, it would only have one member. But what separates the Say Hey Kid from all the other legends isn't just the stats that jump off the page. It's the style, the flair. Like Michael Jordan owning the court, even without the ball in his hands. Mays had presence. He performed the game. Mays mastered more than just the sport. He mastered moments, the spotlight, the connection to fans. He was so magnetic, even Brooklyn Dodger fans, his sworn enemies, cheered when he stepped on the field. That's not just greatness, that's icon status. Where most legends divide, Cobb, Williams, Rose, A-Rod, even his own godson Barry Bonds, Mays united. He was the complete package. The five-tool brilliance of Mike Trout, the magnetic presence of Fernando Tatis Jr., and that pure joy for the game that makes everyone love Mookie Betts. That's why even the New York Mets, who Mays played 135 forgettable games for in his 40s, retired his uniform in 2022, 2 years before Mays passed at the age of 93. Willie Mays wasn't just the greatest baseball player of all time. He was the blueprint for what greatness is in sports. There will never be another Willie Mays. Mays was born May 6, 1931 in Westfield, Alabama, to two gifted athletes. His dad, a semi-pro ball player, and his mom, a high school star in basketball and track, but they never married. Mays was instead raised by his father and two aunts. By 10, he was already sitting on the bench of his father's team. However, it wasn't just baseball. Mays was such a gifted athlete that he was the quarterback and punter for his high school's football team, led the basketball team in scoring, and, of course, dominated on the diamond. But as he was coming of age, Major League Baseball was still dealing with segregation. So Mays had to begin his professional career in the Negro Leagues, only a year after Jackie Robinson had broken Major League Baseball's color barrier. As a rookie, he led the Birmingham Black Barons to the Negro League World Series. The majors couldn't ignore him for long. Many MLB teams started to take notice of the teenager's skills, and the New York Giants landed the wunderkind with a $4,000 contract. Mays wouldn't debut in the big leagues for another 2+ years, and if it had been up to him, it might have been even longer. He was, at first, reluctant to accept the call-up, as Mays was doubting if he could handle major league pitching. And while he did start one for 25, Mays quickly caught fire. Finishing his rookie season batting 287 and winning the Rookie of the Year award at 20 years old. Just as it seemed he was hitting his stride, Mays was dealt a bit of a setback. He missed nearly 2 full seasons due to military service. However, upon returning, it was clear he hadn't skipped a beat. Mays won the MVP in 1954, batting an astonishing .345. He had reported to spring training that year the day after being discharged from the Army. That same year, he made the catch.
There's a long drive, way back in center field, way back, it is
But it wasn't just a catch. It was a moment that froze time. And in that instant, Mays didn't just make a catch. He made history, etching his legend into the fabric of the game. Sports writer Alan Barra said it best, the catch transcended baseball. And so did Mays. He made 24 All-Star teams, the most ever, including 19 straight. As Ted Williams once said, they invented the All-Star game for Willie Mays. He won 12 straight Gold Gloves, an award that was created after Mays debuted, the lone reason why that streak isn't higher. And while he was on his way to becoming the face of baseball, the move to San Francisco in 1958 brought on some new challenges. When the Giants moved cross-country, Mays quickly discovered that New York was more welcoming and accepting of him than his new home in California. Upon arriving to the West Coast in the late 50s, Mays, not yet a star in his new town, had a hard time even being able to buy a home in San Francisco due to his race.
Was this a disappointment to you and your wife to find this trouble that you've entered into for the past couple of days?
Yes, it was a disappointment to me.
I said to myself, hey, whatever they call you, they can't touch you.
He was even originally booed by some Giants fans. The inability to buy a house made national headlines, leading to San Francisco's mayor stepping in to make sure Willie and his family were able to get the home they wanted. For Mays to put up the numbers he did throughout his career, while also dealing with the issues of racism, makes his accomplishments even more remarkable. Jackie Robinson always spoke to the stress the racism directed at him added to his life and career, with many theorizing it contributed to a shorter career and an early death for Robinson. And while Mays did play 23 seasons, much longer than Robinson, the added stress certainly made things even more challenging for him compared to some of his contemporaries. By 1959, his second season in California, he became the highest-paid player in baseball. By the end of the 1960s, the Sporting News named him the Player of the Decade. And in 1971, at the age of 40, Mays still led the National League in a stat called base running runs. Mays was a career .301 hitter, even with many of his prime years coming in the 1960s, when mounds were at an all-time high during an era of the pitcher. One of his managers, Bill Rigney, once said that the only pitch Willie couldn't hit was a wild one. Despite being only 5 feet 10 inches and 170 pounds, Mays still mashed 660 home runs, currently the 6th most all-time. However, if not for missing nearly 2 full years due to military service, Mays might have challenged Babe Ruth's record first. Not to mention the fact that he also had to begin his career in the Negro Leagues, missing more major league time. Furthermore, Mays played 16 of his 23 seasons in San Francisco, where the wind can make it even tougher to hit home runs. And long before someone like his godson could get a boost from performance enhancers. No PEDs, no shortcuts, just natural talent. No one has ever done it like Mays. He wasn't just the most complete player ever, he was baseball in its highest form, because he could do it all. But Mays wasn't just a player, he was a performer, a showman. He called himself an entertainer and gave fans a reason to cheer every night. He felt it was his job to give them something to talk about each game. Mays was very popular in Harlem during his time playing in New York and could be seen playing stickball with the local kids 3 nights a week. Mays was so beloved that following his playing career, he became a hitting coach for the New York Mets. However, he was known to often blow off responsibilities, including the games themselves. When new general manager Joe McDonald found out, he wanted to fire Mays. However, baseball's commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, along with Mays' lawyer, intervened, and the Mets agreed to keep him on staff, under one stipulation. Mays had to be at the games for at least 4 innings. Even then, he was untouchable. In later years, he cared for his wife of nearly 50 years, May Louise, who battled Alzheimer's until her passing. And in 2017, MLB named the World Series MVP award after him. When arguing the best all-around players in Major League Baseball's history, Willie Mays stands unchallenged. His resume is a blueprint for perfection that's impossible to pick apart. Because when you talk about all-around greatness, real greatness, the kind that spans stats and stories, joy and genius, there's no one like Willie Mays. He wasn't just a legend, he was baseball's Shakespeare.